to this computer, yes. Okay, well, thank you for doing this. So let's start off with your name and then also what you do.
Okay, my name is Khlea Sumani. I'm a dentist and forensic dentist.
So I know you've been recently added to our consulting list for odontology. So typically our next question that we've asked all of our employees, it has been, how long have you been working with our office?
Well, I have been working with this office only a few months. So it must have been the beginning of July or the end of June. So it's only been a couple of months.
How long though have you done the forensic dentistry though?
Well, I started doing that just kind of volunteering with a mentor in dental school in about 2011. And then I've just been doing it ever since.
What really fascinates you about going into dentistry and then let alone doing the forensic dentistry?
Well, actually, the reason why I went into dentistry is because I was interested in forensic dentistry.
Oh, okay.
So I've just really been always interested in forensics and actually studied that as my minor in undergrad and decided I wanted to go that route. So that's what really got me into dentistry itself. So
awesome. So our next question is, what is your favorite part about what you do? You can pick the dentistry or even if there's anything that's fascinating with the forensic dentistry side on that.
I'd say the most interesting thing for me would be more on the forensic side where I, was able to join this team called OMOR and actually do a good amount of my training things through their trainings, their mass disaster response team. And I think that's the most interesting and fun part of what I do.
So I know a lot of our people, I guess, depending on who will see this, I know what OMOR is since I'm also on that team, but can you explain what OMOR is?
Yeah, so OMOR is Ohio's Mortuary Operational Response Team. It is a group of people. It's ran by funeral home directors. So Pete Menges is the main guy there, and then also Dr. Berner. So what they do is they'll respond to things such as airplane crashes and help identify, recover and identify the remains.
Okay. Thank you. And what is a work-related accomplishment that you are most proud of?
I mean, every day in dentistry, I feel like is an accomplishment. Always, turning smiles around, people walk in with no confidence and being able to give them that confidence daily would be the best part every day.
What about in the odontology aspect with the forensics?
I like that it's kind of a puzzle for me. Just seeing the ante-mortem versus post-mortem and trying to kind of see who it is. It's a puzzle, and that's the part that I enjoy.
Well, I think it's fascinating what you guys are able to do with the ante-mortem, the prior to death x-rays, and then comparing it to the post-mortem, so after death, and being able to do that identification, like here's a cavity, here's a missing tooth, and all of that, and be like, yep, this is them. And I'm like, oh, there's just so many questions still for me. I'm like, are you sure?
Yeah, the average person would look at a tooth and just be like, oh, it's a tooth. But there's so many different details, especially when you get a full set of x-rays. There's so many things to look at and so many identifying features. So it's really, I mean, to me, it's really, really fun. But most people would just be like, oh, no, I have no idea. Which I enjoy being able to do that too, so.
What's the oldest case that you've been able to work on?
I actually don't know the answer to that. So a lot of times I don't necessarily know how old the case is. I've got, I get to go in at different times in decomposition. So sometimes it'll be, skeletal remains, which at the end of the day, I don't necessarily know exactly how long it took them to get skeletized. So I don't really know for sure.
Okay. Just thought I'd throw that question out.
Yeah, so a lot of times I've done more, newer, fresher cases, but I have had several ones that were, skeletal or severely decomposed, but I just don't remember exactly how old they were.
That's totally fine. So with your training program, this I know was not on my original thought process when I was asking questions. How long so you do undergrad, then you go to dentistry school. Is there anything more specific for that forensic aspect? Like how long, like a fellowship or like a residency, you would normally get from med students. What is it for dentistry?
Yeah, so in order to be a board certified forensic dentist, there are fellowships to do. I've done several workshops as well as going to the forensic science meetings. So there's a mixture of hands-on training and the didactic, training lecture style. But a lot of it takes place in different areas of the country. You're often going to not necessarily like a residency where you go to a place and you're there for a long period of time. And, it's kind of, you go several times a year and you come back, go over cases. A lot of it is self-driven as well. So some people will take a longer time, some people take a shorter period of time. And really when it comes to forensic dentistry, you can, go as far as you would like to or not.
So how many forensic odontologists are there?
Oh my, there's actually not that many. So I actually don't have an exact number for you because
how many, do you know how many are in Ohio?
In Ohio, there are board certified, there's one.
Okay.
And that would be in Cleveland.
Okay.
So, yeah.
But you're working your way to get that.
Yes, so I am working on my board certification as far as taking the workshops and taking the tests and all that fun stuff. So,
okay, awesome.
There are several different areas. So there's the bite marks, the age estimation, and the identification, and then expert testimony. So there are four different areas, and depending on what time of year, some of them are offered certain times a year. So it does take a longer period of time than other specialties, but it really just depends on what it is that you want to do.
Okay. Well, that's awesome, and good luck.
Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, well, those are my questions, so I really appreciate your time. Let me end this, unless you have anything additional you want to share with the community about like what you do, or
no, I mean, not that I know of off the top of my head. I just wish there were more forensic dentists because there really is only the one. Chuck is in Cleveland, actually. Dr. Berner, I believe now in Ohio is the only one. A lot of other people have retired, and there's just not a lot of young people interested in it at all. But it's a really great field, and I would love more dentists to be interested in that.
Awesome. Well, hopefully they'll see this and they'll say that same thing.
Exactly. Let's hope.
All right. Well, thank you again. I really appreciate it.